Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Jennifer. Today what we're going to do is a makeup use up or makeup I want to use up for 2019. So I went through my collection and I did this I think like a year ago, and I decided to pick out some items that I either wanted to use up completely over the next year or at least hit pan on. So I'm going to tell you which items that I've picked out. I'm also doing this video in collaboration with some other beauty influencers that I met through YpsiOS on Facebook. So if you guys want to check their videos out, I will link them in the description bar down below and check that out. Otherwise, you can type in products I want to use up, Project Pan 2019, and it should pull up all the ladies who are, or gentlemen who are participating in this year's makeup use up. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so when I went through my declutter over this year, I determined that I had just a lot of primers, and I do like primers, but I feel like I need to use some of them up. So I'm just about to use up one of my Maybelline smoothing ones. Let's see here. The Blur and Smooth, I'm just about done with this. So I thought I would pick out some primers, and I picked out quite a few. But I've got one smoothing one, which is the NYX Angel Veil. I did mark it because I'm kind of like right here, and I just held that up to a light to kind of see where I was. This Tarte Brighter Days is a highlighting moisturizer, so I'm going to use this. This I couldn't tell where I am, so we'll just kind of have to see as it squeezes down. I picked out this sample guide to use up, which is this Burberry Fresh Glow Illuminous. It says fluid base. It reminds me a lot of like the Becca backlight priming filters. It's just a really nice, light, more natural highlighting cream, so I'll use that as well. I feel like 3 primers isn't a lot, but I think it's an obtainable goal for 2019. Especially seeing that there are other primers that I'll still be using, I think that it'll be obtainable. So I'm looking pretty positively on this. I'm just thinking how many primers I used up last year, and I did, even though I didn't formally do a project pan or anything, I did try and focus on certain makeup items. So I feel like I'm pretty confident in that one. I did use up a bronzer last year, and then I started using this professional pan, if you will, of the Laguna bronzer by NARS. So you can see that on the back. I did hit pan on it fairly quickly. I don't feel like there's actually a lot of product in here as far as the thickness of the product in the pan. So my goal is for the next year to use up the rest of this entirely, which I think it's totally doable. And then what I wanted to do is hit pan on this Too Faced Soulmates blush and bronzer in Carry and Big. Now, I don't really use the blush in here, but I do want to hit pan on this section here of the bronzer. And I feel like once I do that, I'll probably be done with this because I don't really like the blush all that much. Maybe I could kind of pick it out and repress it in something else, but I do have other bronzers to enjoy, but I wanted to hit pan on this one, not use it up completely. Then for foundations, I only picked out 2 foundations that I want to use up entirely, and then the rest of the year I want to just use other items in my collection and enjoy the rest of my collection, so I can kind of swap in other foundations and not feel like I only have to stick with these. So I picked out the CYO Life Proof Foundation. If you guys haven't watched me before, I do really love this foundation. I feel like it's going to be no problem for me to use it up. I absolutely enjoy it. I'm going to be sad to see it go, so I likely will repurchase it even after I use it up. The shade that I have mine in is 103, and I am right here. I love this packaging. You get every little bit of the product, and the foundation looks beautiful on my skin. It's like a natural, not matte, but not glowy. It's more of a natural finish, and I love it. Goes on well with a brush and a sponge. Now this one, the Revlon Color Stay Whipped, it's not, I don't love it as much as I love the regular Color Stay, but it's okay. I do have to apply this with a sponge, just like the other Color Stay product. So I like having the option of a foundation that looks good with a brush and then one that's good with a sponge. This one, once it's gone, I will not repurchase it just because I don't really see much of a difference other than the consistency in this compared to the Color Stay, and I much prefer the regular Color Stay than the whipped formula. This one I do feel like is more matte. The color is not quite right for me right now. It's a little bit light. I have this in 150 Buff, but I don't feel like it'll be hard for me to use up at all. When I do use this, I have to use more moisturizing primers underneath because anywhere where I have acne and stuff, it's going to cling, it's going to look dry. So then for powders, I want to use up the Bare Mineral Veil, and I just kind of put the powder all to the bottom here, and right now I'm, you know, like level, like right here. So I'm going to continue to use this up. I don't feel like it'll be any problem doing so. The other powder that I for sure want to at least hit pan on is the NYX HD Finishing Powder. Now if I used it up completely, that would be great. This is in their banana color. I feel like this one to use up in a whole year might be a bit much because I don't use this all over my face. I generally just use this to set my under eye, and I've been using it for a while already, and I don't see any hint that there's even, you know how sometimes you can see sort of the texture of the pan, or if the pan is going to be a little bit rippled or have, you know, some shape to it. And I'm not seeing any of that. So I don't know if this is just one solid smooth pan like this NARS one where you're not going to see the shape of the pan before you hit it. That I don't know. But I've been using it for a while. I haven't seen any sign of pan, so this one I at least want to just hit pan on. So sticking with my face products right now, I do have two blushes. I know that's a lot that I am putting into the project pan. The first one is really because if I don't do something with it this year, it needs to go. Kat Von D doesn't even make this particular packaging. I don't know if she makes this particular blush anymore, but it's definitely discontinued. This is in Bellissima, and my ultimate goal is just to hit pan on this. I feel like it's going to be very hard to use up a blush entirely, but I've got a pretty good divot going already because I love this coral blush. It goes on really smooth and even, and it makes my skin look great, and I don't have to work too hard. Like, it's not too bright. I can just put it on and it's just the right amount of coral. So I do want to hit pan on this. So I also want to hit pan or use up entirely would be great. This blush by Flesh. It's in the color Pulse. I think for summer it's going to be a little bit difficult. Like right now when you put it on your cheeks, it gives you sort of that I've been out in the cold kind of look, just a really nice red berry flush to the cheeks. So I feel like for winter it's going to be a great color for me to use. For summer I'm going to have to be a little bit light-handed with it to use it, but their blush pan sizes don't seem very big, so hopefully I'll be able to use it up entirely. The next face product that I at least want to hit pan on is the Mary Luminizer by The Balm. I've had this forever, but I love it. It is the highlighter that I have on today. I have a pretty good divot going already in the center of the pan, so hopefully I'll be able to hit pan on it. If I could use it up, that would be great. But I feel like there's other highlighters that I do want to use throughout the year as well, so I don't know that I want to be stuck to just one highlighter. But I feel like hitting pan on it is an obtainable goal for me this year. So the next item is the Milani Eye Primer. I feel like for a long time I just wasn't using eye primer at all, and it really depends on the eyeshadow that I'm using. Most days I like to just use concealer and a creamy colored powder, or I will use my face powder to set my eyes, and that's okay, it works out fine. But for more like bold looks, smoky looks, I like to use the eye primer, and this one has been in my collection for a while, but it's like to right here. So I feel like being able to use the rest of this up in the next year is a pretty good goal. I feel like I won't have trouble doing it, and it's a really great eye primer, but I recently just got a sample of the Urban Decay primer potion, the original, and so I feel like this will be a good next one to use. It's small, you know, seeing that I don't use eye primer every day, I feel like this is a good size. But yeah, the Milani eye primer is also on the list. Then over the last year, I didn't do a project pan series, as you know, but I did kind of keep a mental note of things that I wanted to use up. The year prior, when I actually filmed my project pan, I did pick an eyeshadow palette, and I feel like I wanted to do that again. So I picked out the Balm Nude Tude palette. The reason is because I really don't feel like I use this very much at all. And there are some colors that I have not dipped into whatsoever, so I feel like it would be a good palette to use. I also swatched it out, and I felt pretty confident that I could do more smoky looks, I could do everyday looks. I felt like it would be an easy palette to pan, so that's why I picked it, and I'm hoping that I will be correct. The only thing is I know 100% I am not going to end up using up these two end shades. I rarely use black in my looks. I know that a lot of people say that they have to have a black in a palette to make it feel complete. I don't. I don't know why. I just don't. So I have a feeling that I will not use up that black or this really, really dark brown. But my goal is to hit pan on the majority of the shadows in here. I feel like up to these last 4 shades is going to be no problem. The last 4 shades are probably the iffy shades for me, whether or not I'll hit pan. But we're going to see what we can do. So that is everything, I believe, I think. Yes. There's other lip products and stuff that I always have at my desk and in my purse that I am just mentally trying to use up, but I didn't want to include them in the project pan because I just didn't. I felt like these were enough products for me to just like focus on, and yeah, that's it. So again, please check out the other channels that are participating in this year's Makeup Use Up Project Pan. I don't know exactly what the title is going to be, but I will let you know, and if you just search that, all the rest of the videos should pop up for you. Thanks again so much for taking time out of your day and watching one of my videos. If you're new, please subscribe before you leave. I'd love to have you. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you're doing for this year. Are you doing a project pan? Are there certain items that you're just like, yes, I have to use this up? Let me know in the comments below what those items are, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!